Oh, I hate wintertime. Where is the sunshine and the warm weather? Anyhow, seriously, thinking about moving south. It's cold. It snowed again, like 2 days in a row now. I got stuff I want to get done to the car. Transmission's done. We got to get that back in the car. I don't know if I'm feeling motivated enough to do it or not. You know, when you work on cars all week, doing repair stuff and inspection and all that stuff, and the last thing I want to do is lay out in the cold on the weekend working on cars again. But anyhow, if I want to get this done, it's going to have to be done sooner or later, regardless of what the weather is. So I did want to get you guys up to speed on another thing I've been thinking about here over the winter, and that is last year when I ran the dual 380 pumps on this. I staged the pumps, which basically means that under your normal driving conditions, like idle and cruising around, it runs on a single pump. And then in the Holly system, I have it set up that, I think it's like at 10 pounds of boost and above, it'll kick on the second pump. But the problem I'm running into is it's got more than enough fuel, but the stock truck rails and the regulator, it can't handle the pressure that the pump puts out. It'll peg 100 psi fuel pressure gauge instantly. So I think what I'm gonna have to do here is, and this stuff works good. The stock stuff works good on most of your single pumped, like an NA build or even a mild turbo build. Your fuel pressure regulator. Somebody's having a bad day. Sorry about that. Hope everyone's alright. Fuel pressure regulator here. This thing will boost reference 1-to-1. And you can adjust these from what I've seen another YouTube video where the guy modifies this regulator here and backs out this screw, and he's able to get the fuel pressure down in his to an acceptable level. The sucky thing is, these rails are huge, so it's not like you have a volume issue in here. But if you take these regulators off, the orifice, the port in here where all your return happens right in here. You got your return line coming out here. Here's your feed line. This is a 3/8. This is 5/16. But where the fuel has to travel back in through the regulator and up out, it's so tiny, and you start really cramming fuel in there, it gets backed up, and you don't need 100 psi of fuel pressure to run one of these things, even under boost. So I think what I'm going to do, well, what I did do, is I ordered some China Boy rails off of eBay. It's a billet fuel rail for like an LS1. It uses a -8 ORB or O-ringed fitting in the end of it, and we'll go down and take a look at them. But I don't want to have fuel problems with this thing. E85 is it kind of sucks. It's rough on things, and as far as being corrosive and whatnot. Anyhow, that's besides the point. But I'm past the point of this actually being a setup that's going to work for me. So we have, these are -8 feed. It's a PTFE line. This is a -6 return, so that should support what I'm trying to make. This car's not going to make 1,000 horsepower. I'm not shooting for 1,000 horsepower. This is still a Gen 3 block with the the slightly weaker rods in it. It's, you know, if we eke 650, 700 horse out of this thing, we will be lucky. But you know, I want to prep the car for upgrades later down the road. If this thing goes up, who knows what might be sitting in there next. It'll be an LS platform, but you know, will it be a 6.0? It's going to be Gen 4. Will it be built? Who knows? I kind of like the junkyard turbo thing. It's fun to build these things with not a lot of money into the actual engine itself, and go out and actually make some decent power with it. You know, it kind of upsets people at the track that get like 30 grand in their engines and they're still only running 10s. So this here is another thing we may have to upgrade. It's an on-3 7665, so 76 millimeter compressor and 65 millimeter turbine. Uses an 096 housing in the back, which it works good. And the reason I originally purchased this one is when I was putting this thing together 3-4 years ago, this was one of the go-to turbo setups. It's kind of before like VS Varen got his name out there with the sloppy guys, and you know, it was either that or like an S4 75 or 480, which I just felt was a little bit too big for this combo for what I wanted. You know, I still wanted to have good street manners. Not saying that you can't. There's a lot of guys out there that, you know, are running a 400 series, want a 5.3, even a 4.8, you know, and they're having luck with it. Good luck with it. So, but what I'd really like to do is kind of a mirror build, like the No BS Me sloppy build, the billet 7875, slightly bigger compressor, but it's got a bigger turbine housing, which will let this thing breathe. Right now, you're with a 68 millimeter exducer or turbine wheel, you're gonna have some back pressure issues in here. It's too small for, you know, the engine to actually breathe. So I don't know if anybody's interested in a turbo. This thing's treated me well. It's got no journal play in it. It's in great shape. They're not worth, I mean, I think you can buy them brand new for like 350, 400 bucks. So, you know, if I could get 200 bucks out of it and you cover shipping, that'd be awesome. But I would like to upgrade this. If not, then maybe we will run it this year with this turbo on it and see what kind of times we get out of it, and then swap to the 7875 without making no other changes, because it is still a T4 housing, the 7875 is. So, and they're pretty much exactly the same footprint as these, so it's a direct swap. And you know, we'll see what it picks up just by swapping the turbo out and making sure that the tune is set up to work with it. So anyhow, that's kind of where we're at. I honestly don't know. It's cold out here, and as you can see, I really don't have what's called like a legit garage. This is just like one of those portable garages. It's something to keep the car out of the weather, and yeah, keep all this crap off of it. It's absolutely miserable. I hate the winter time. I wish it could be summer all year long. Some of you might disagree, but that's my preference. So there's the transmission. She's all ready to go back in the car, so you guys know about that. Here's the eBay China Boy rails I picked up. You know, they're decent. I mean, for what they are, I think I paid like 60 bucks for them. It didn't come with any fittings. You can see how the injectors are on the angle there to work with the, like I said, these are LS1 style rails, but they will work with a truck intake. I'm probably going to have to modify or make up some brackets here to get it to work, you know, because of the spacing. Obviously the LS1 uses a short intake. The truck has, you know, different location there for the mounting points. Plus, then I'm running Deca 80 injectors, which are like twice the length. So, but it's you know, nothing that I think we, you know, are gonna have an issue handling. But anyhow, so nice. I mean, they're a nice piece. They use a 14 millimeter O-ring on the injector, which is pretty standard size for your LS stuff. I had, this is a boost reference regulator, which I originally bought for the car, and it's just been sitting in the toolbox. I haven't really used it, because I've been using the factory. It was one of those deals where I was like, oh, hey, look, you know, other guys are using the factory regulator on a boosted application, so let's push it and see how far we can get on it. But anyhow, that all changed when I went to the dual pumps. This is this is one of the reasons why, like, when I buy a fuel line kit, and like it's not a secret, I'm a cheap ass, so you know I try to spend money where it counts, but you know on other things I'll skimp. Some people may say that this is where it counts, but you know I've not seen any issues with these, like eBay and Amazon. You know, buy your stuff like that's shipped from the States only. That's what I do. I don't. To me, it's not worth waiting on stuff shipped from China. Plus, you know, most of this stuff comes with China anyhow. But I've not seen, like, I've not had any issues with these. Like, this is a legit Russell fitting here. You know what I mean? And you compare it to the other fittings that I got, and I buy like kits. Like when I did the PTFE hoses on this, I bought like a 20-foot roll of dash 8, a 20-foot roll of dash 6, and like a 10-foot roll of dash 10 to just to go from the cell to the pumps. And like the filters, the fittings, all that stuff, you know, I got everything as much as I could get my hands on in a kit, you know, to save money. Because these things, you buy one of these fittings, you're going to spend anywhere between 7 to 10 to 15 to even $20 a fitting, depending on what they are. Like one of these in a dash 10 fitting or a dash 12, you're going to spend a pretty penny on. So I buy as much as I can. If they include fittings in the kit, buy it, because you know I've got all this extra stuff that is just laying around here, and you know you change something up, like now I'm going to put fuel rails on it. I don't have to go spend $8 a fitting. You know what I mean? I have the stuff here to do it. But as far as quality goes, man, you know, all these are aluminum fittings anyhow. If you're dumb enough to thread these on here and get on there with, you know, your big adjustable and a pair of like vice grip pliers and crank the crap out of these things, they're gonna leak. They're gonna fail on you. So don't be that idiot. Don't do that. You know, even if you're using regular wrenches, all you gotta do, man, is run these things until they seat, and then give them like a quarter turn, an eighth of a turn. That's it. You don't have to kill these things. You're aluminum. You will crush that bevel in there, and it will leak. And then you're going to be some flaming idiot that goes online and gives somebody a bad review because you don't know how to do this stuff, and you screwed it up yourself. Don't be that guy. Now, if I screw one of these on, and I screw one of those in the rail, and I do everything I just told you to do, you know, screw it in, finger tight, and just, you know, like an eighth, quarter of a turn, and it leaks, well, you know, maybe I'll stick my foot in my mouth here, but I have yet to have an issue like that with any of this stuff. Now, I will tell you, like, okay, this is a dash 10 ORB fitting to a dash 6, but look how tiny that hole is. It's like legitimately like a 3/16 hole, if not smaller, and dash 6 should be close to 5/16. But the cool thing is, you know, there's plenty of meat there. You could drill that sucker out. But look how tiny that is. So that you're going to find some issues like that. But, you know, don't be a tool. Don't complain about it. just make it work. So anyhow, I do have to, since these are dash 10, I was like, sweet, I have some of these, I'm going to be able to save money. And unfortunately, these are dash 8 ORB, not dash 10, so, you know, it's too big to fit in the hole. Anyhow, one thing I do like that I always hate to see is when guys run stuff through a firewall or through any sort of sheet metal panel, and these guys just take and grab the harness. I don't want to say use guys, but people just take and grab the harness and jam it through and no protection on it. Don't be that guy. These aren't cheap, but they're nice. They make a nice fit. These universal firewall grommets, they work great in most cases, and if you buy them big enough, especially if you have like bulkhead connectors, like the hole is small, it's like a 1/2 inch or a 3/4 inch hole, but you know, you can stretch it, you can get your connectors and stuff through there. I'm going to use these in the trunk where the fuel cell feed lines to the pump go down through, you know, just to clean it up. You can do simple stuff like that, make your stuff not look completely and utterly trashy. But anyhow, that is where we're at. Like I said, the weather hasn't been really cooperating, and you can call me a sissy or whatever for not laying out there in the cold and putting the trans in, but you know, I do this stuff at home and work on the cars for enjoyment, but I also do this stuff all day long at work, and you know, that stuff is work. This stuff is, you know, to help me relax. And when it's cold outside and it's miserable, I don't want to be out there doing it, because then I'm not relaxed. I'm just frustrated and I'm cold, and it makes me cranky. And then when I'm cranky, the wife yells at me more because I'm cranky and tells me not to be a little, you know what. So anyhow, we'll save it for, plus, you know, when the sun's out, just everybody's in a better mood. So let's see, as far as what we might be getting into, the track was supposed to open this weekend, test and tune. I doubt they did. So, but I know they have test and tune through the entire month of March, April, May, June. So, you know, we'll get down there one of these days. Craig is doing some work on the Jimmy and some other stuff. He's gonna get an appointment to have some stuff tuned by Jeremy from Faster Proms, so maybe we'll be able to go up and hang out with those guys. And you know, I don't know if I'll be able to disclose power numbers on the Jimmy, because he does do some grudge stuff every once in a while, so we might keep our numbers on the down low. Don't know if he wants all that stuff out there, but I can guarantee you it's probably more than 3 digits anyhow. So I guess we'll wrap this up. I just wanted to get a quick video out to everybody. It's been a while since I've uploaded anything. So anyhow, have fun, get out, work on something, and like, comment, subscribe, share the videos around. If you find them, they're probably not entertaining. I'm not a very entertaining person. I'm usually pretty mellow, and my kids give me crap for that because they watch my videos and say I'm boring, but you know, I'm dad, I'm allowed to be boring. Anyhow, have fun and keep your shiny side up. Till next time, see you later.